on YouTube. This is the very first time I'm hosting these sessions. So I'm recording and I'll upload it on YouTube so you can find it there later. For those who are on Facebook, hello to our artist page. And I want to introduce my great friend. By the way, cheers. So whoever, I have a birdie cup.
Oh, yeah,
And your cup is espresso,
brand
right?
new.
Wow, Zahili always get the class, you know. She looks all good all the time and she's got the
Come on,
classy cups.
look at you.
I got my New Zealand shirt.
Yes.
So, so hello everyone. This is afternoon and Saturday. I am in New York and Zahili is in Boston right now.
Yeah.
And we both are still in kind of a lockdown, although it eases up a little bit now. So I met Zahili probably 7 years ago at Berkeley, and wow, long time ago. And Zahili was one of those people who I spotted right away. So it's one of those stories that make people laugh. So there are two times it happened in my life. It's two friends. It's my best friend Juste, who lives in Scotland. I met her when I was 8 years old at the music school. And when I saw her, she had these green jeans and big glasses, and she played piano very nice. She was one of the best players in the school. So I thought, oh, this girl is so nice, so gentle, and she plays so well. I want to be her friend forever. And that's what happened. So when I saw you, Zahili, I thought, oh, what a nice energy and what a beautiful person. And she plays piano so nice. So I want to be a friend. And I approached you and I kind of voiced it in the same manner
I
that
remember that. I remember.
so I'm so happy that we became friends and our friendship continues even 7 8 going to 8th year after Berkeley.
Yeah.
And Zahili has a story for those who are watching. It's very inspiring, very unique. Zahili is from Cuba and classically trained piano player. So I wanted to ask first question, could you share a little bit about your childhood and about your start being a piano player in Cuba?
Yes. All right. So first of all, thank you. I am truly humbled that I was in your mind to start this series of yours. It just humbles me that I'm one of those people that inspires you because I feel exactly the same way about you. And I feel truly blessed that you approached me and that we had a friendship that's not just musical, but it's something that we have slowly but surely groomed together through coffee,
Yes.
gym, gym,
Gym time.
and obviously live performances, sharing our lives. So it's really a gift to be able to have someone like you, and I truly thank you for that, and I congratulate you for coming up with this idea.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yeah,
Maybe it will grow into something huge.
people are finding people is really working hard to stay connected. This is a time that has really brought us all to really think what's important in life, and I think we were losing a little bit of connection with each other, and these new ideas that you and I have other friends and strangers that are coming up with these ideas of connecting, and we can be in different places of the world and still have these beautiful conversations and get to know each other deeper at a deeper level. So thank you, and back to your
Oh,
question.
thank you. Thank you. I think that like this is so awesome. This is going to grow and people who watching, they just gonna be so blessed by your presence and our friendship and the synergy we have.
Thank you. So yeah, so I grew up in a little town in Cuba called Manzanillo. People get surprised every time I tell them it's 10 to 12 hours southwest of Havana, because people think Cuba, as when you say island, people think it's just a very small place. But my ego boosts immediately, and I'm like, it's the biggest island of the Caribbean. So Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a musical family. My mom's dad was a, a singer in the style of Benny More. If a lot of, Latino musicians and Cubans are listening, they know who I'm talking about. So he used to be the front singer at Orquesta America.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the big guy, singing, and the big band right behind him singing boleros. And I grew up in that ambience. He would come back in the middle of the night, still with some of the energy he had after the gig. And he would serenade my grandma from time to time. So I would wake up as a kid listening to my grandfather serenading my grandma. And I grew up when they had, we had family parties and there was no music playing. It was my grandfather with all of my uncles and aunties singing live. And
Wow.
a bottle of rum, some dominoes, a very like Cuban scenario.
Wow, I'd love to like go back in time and see that.
Yeah, we still do it as adults, and it's kind of, sad at the same time because it's a way of reliving his memory and his legacy. But yeah, my grandma, my mom's mom, was the one that realized I had some curiosity for the piano because as early as 3 years old, I would just like try to reach up to a piano we had at home and started, doing melodies by ear from songs I heard on TV. And she was like, "No, I gotta take this girl to the music school." And that's how it all started. I was 6 and classically trained. And for a moment, I thought, yeah, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to be a concert pianist,
Yeah.
That's still with me, I have to be honest. I still have that classical vibe with me. I don't go away from classical music. I still have to play it every day and practice it every day. But the path took me through so many different places. I started playing with this Cuban female band. First, it was one called Rica Cha, which don't even ask me what that means. I know that there's a song, a cha-cha song. Los marcianos llegaron ya y llegaron bailando el cha-cha-cha. Rica cha, rica cha. I think.
Uh-huh.
Don't quote me on this. Comes from a song, a cha-cha song. And that was like my first introduction into Cuban music per se. And I was with them for a while, and then I was called to be part of this other band, Detalle, which then, really paved a big part of my life. Um, Female bands in Cuba, it's like, I'm always giving this comparison. Female bands in Cuba are like Starbucks in the United States. Everywhere, or at least at the time I was in Cuba, there was this huge revolution of females at the forefront, and strong sounding, still sexy, female like, but very strong sounding as well. So, yeah, with this band, we all left to Canada in one of our tours, and we decided.
How old you were when you started doing this female band, like seriously?
I had just graduated high school, so I was 18 when I
Mm.
started performing professionally. So yeah, and I was in my early 20s when we went on tour for Canada and decided, okay, we're gonna start a new future together in
Yeah.
Canada, and we all stayed. So that's like a big chapter comprised for you in this little time we have together. But yeah, once in Canada, then this new wave of immigrants, we started seeing around us. It's just like in the United States. So we were Cubans, but when we were performing with people from all over Latin America, from Europeans, with Africans, and it's just this new wave of music coming at us. Some of us still remain friends. Some of us haven't even talked for many, many years, as you know. Life just takes you in different ways. Some have 4 kids, some have no kids.
Right.
It's like, but it was definitely a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time in my career. I wonder if you hear when my emails come in. Do you hear that ding?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
wait.
it's not very loud, so it's fine.
Let me see if I can just quit that.
Zed just got an email that she's got $1 million for her new record.
Oh my God. Okay, so I quitted it. Hopefully, So, as I was saying, yeah, truly thankful for that phase of my life with those girls because they taught me the importance of performance. They taught me the importance of connecting with the crowd. Um, I would even say that was the first time I really connected with powerful women. Really fighting to get through in this world that's mainly male dominated for a long time. So yeah, I owe them a lot. I truly owe them a lot. And we were in Canada. I think I spent about 6 years in Canada, and then I got a call to go to perform in Asia.
Okay, I'll stop right here. So,
Start.
uh, starting 6 years old playing piano in Cuba. By the way, those pictures you sometimes post from your Cuban childhood, it's the most adorable thing. Like this little girl with ponytails at the piano. And you played since then the classical piano, and then in high school you started the girls band, and then you guys moved to Canada to do
Yeah.
it full time.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I feel like even though we from absolutely different parts of the world, we have such similar start,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's why we connect, because we both are from small towns. We both started from Russian school,
Yeah.
classical background, you know. Ну что ты не понимаешь? Еще один раз. Rulers and fingers and stuff like that. So that classical Russian school, which only people who went through that can understand what that means.
Yeah.
Um, that all my friends who are watching in Lithuania, they know what it means if they went to music school. So
And
not to put it in a positive or
interrupt
negative way.
you for a second, but with all exactly what you were gonna say, not to put it in a negative way, I personally, and I think you would agree with that too, is something that gave us a lot of the discipline we have for what we do today. Because up to this point, they really paved the way of how to be systematic about working towards the things we want to achieve as professionals, as artists, skills and stuff like that. So
Absolutely. In general, like the importance of fundamentals. I feel that set me up for the whole life, like that start as a child, and things like posture, things like practice habits, and pushing through. You want to practice or you don't, you just do it, there's no conversation about it.
yeah,
So I feel like once you establish that kind of start, you can really accelerate your career through your whole life.
yeah,
And I'm very grateful, although it has these harsh moments. As a child, you want to go run with your friends, and you want to
yes,
do silly things, but I'm so grateful, and I feel that we connected in that way, um, because we came from very different parts of the world but similar type of
yeah.
dynamic. And also kind of dwelling in jazz now, or you more in Latin jazz, I'm in my avant-garde jazz.
How was your transition specifically to traditional music? If I could call it traditional, popular music.
Yeah, I feel like I lived in very small town. We didn't really have jazz bands or any exposure. Also, I grew up like very poor. We didn't have a radio or a player. I
Yeah.
got my first CD player, like a boombox, when I was 14, and I would ask my friends to copy CDs from internet on their Windows computers, all that stuff. Although we're not that old, it sounds like old.
Yeah.
Uh, but so I wasn't exposed to music, a lot of contemporary music, before I was 17. And so only when I was 16, 17, I heard jazz records for the first time. And that was Billie Holiday, Chick Corea, and Stevie Wonder. These,
Wow.
like, and then I put it on my MP3 player at the time, the USB, walking around with the headphones. And that's pretty much it. Then I thought, wow, that's all. Like, that concert live where you're doing recitals for 2 hours on classical pieces
Yeah.
is just not my forte. I thought that, it's nice, the discipline, I appreciate it, but I, like, in jazz, I get to be myself. It's still strict. It's still a lot of practice. It's a very serious discipline, but you also have this freedom of,
Freedom. Yeah.
embracing your own self. So 18, 17, 18, and then once I went to academy, it hit like full time. So, but I still do classical warm-ups. My roommates can tell. I still do classical warm-ups every day with my voice,
Of course. Of course. That's like me. I sit at the piano, and the first impulse is to want to play something classical or to learn something classical, just for the sake of that's just right near my heart, and I just enjoy the process of practicing a piece, memorizing it, playing it, just for myself. And
Yeah.
then I go into, whatever other stuff. Um, it's interesting though because even though I was playing with female bands and I was playing traditional party like danceable Cuban music, my role in the bands was that of horn players, because there weren't that many horn players that were females and they wanted to stay with that, concept of having female players. So I was the second keyboardist doing all the flutes, all the violins, the strings, the horns.
Wow, it must have been like a very good background for your further career, which is in jazz composition.
Yeah, yeah. And at the same time, I need to transition because I was coming from classical background. So from that into playing lines, it was an easy thing. But the understanding of like harmony, which is it's something so deep. We could go about harmony for so long, right? You and
Yeah.
I have Daniel Smith.
If Daniel is watching, hi Daniel, you were, well, a
Yeah,
great teacher.
yeah,
Great
yeah.
teacher.
So and being able to express yourself with that freedom, that's something that came to me actually in Asia.
Hmm.
And I went there. I was just called to perform top 40 tunes. They have this huge um, culture, if I may, where you just go to a hotel and you see a live band
Hmm.
performing the music that you hear on the radio, but live. And that
Yeah.
was a new experience for me as well because I needed to get acquainted with popular, pop music.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I stop you just right there? So I just want to um, uh, kind of put the timeline. So could you just give a little background of how Asia came about, and how many years you spent there, or consecutive summers? Just a little background.
so back and forth, I was there for 6 years, and it was an opportunity that came randomly. I wasn't even looking for it, but it was a friend of a friend of a friend, and it got to me. They were looking for a keyboardist um, to perform with a small trio at this, fancy hotel in Macau, Southeast Asia.
Hmm.
And I believe the opportunity actually came once or twice before, and I said no because it sounded like a big deal. I was already in Canada, I was settled, I had my own routine, and all of a sudden, just leaving everything and going there, it was like, ah. But there was a time in which I was craving a change. I'm pretty sure you might agree with me when you just leave everything behind and just go into a new chapter, not even knowing what's going to be like, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to give it a go. It was supposed to be a 3-month contract that became a 7-month contract that brought in other relationships that allowed me to go back again and again. And that meant I was there for 6 years.
Wow. So without going back to Canada?
I think I went back to Canada only once, and then I just traveled through different places during those 6 years. And it was actually in Asia where I met a lot of people from Berkeley College of Music.
Mm-hmm.
And it was being in Asia where I started performing a little bit of jazz, consciously. I might have performed it before, but I wasn't consciously doing it. So I wasn't even paying attention, if I could call it that way. Um, but it was in Asia when I started doing it for the first time that I was like, this feels different and good. And I'm sensing some freedom in here that I haven't experienced before. And that's what brought me to Berklee College of Music.
Yeah, so that is very amazing fact I just want to pinpoint. And I think that's a one of a lot of very inspiring moments about your life. And people who watching, I want to like stop here for a second. And this Zahili went to Berkeley after 10 years of professional musical career, and I feel like it's such courageous act and manifestation of integrity and just dedication to craft, because it's so easy for human beings to settle, like, oh, I'm financially stable, this is good, I make living as musician, I make living as an actor, all these things. But as artists, we always crave for something higher, something, we want to be challenged, we want to grow. So that was very, very inspiring thing you did. And you went into school where everyone is fresh, most of people are fresh out of high school, so they're just like kids. And so I feel like it's amazing that you did that. Selfishly love that because that's where we met and we became friends.
Right.
I went to Berkeley myself also after school, but it was school to school, back to school, back to school. So I didn't have like a professional life such long like you did. So could you tell me about how you found yourself at Berkeley, going from professional career to school?
You know, uh, yeah, I didn't even stop to think it was a courageous act until, I had a few conversations uh, with you and other people, and it's truly something, as you say, to be able to just say, okay, I'm not gonna work anymore. I'm gonna go back to school. And at that point, I was in my mid 30s, so it is a weird feeling. But at the same time, I would say I was more clear as to what I wanted as an artist,
Yeah.
coming from a classical background, performing in traditional Cuban bands, but not necessarily still doing Cuban music,
Yeah.
doing top 40s, kind of like brushing onto jazz. So it was still a little bit of a lot of things, but not necessarily um, mastering something, if I could put it like that. So coming to Berkeley just gave me that time of just being able to sit down, analyze who I wanted to be as an artist, gain back my identity in a way,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just really work on my craft, finding a team, of
Yeah.
people that I wanted to play with. Yes, it is weird to sit in a classroom with 18-year-olds.
Yeah, I know. I never felt, well, I went to Berkeley when I was 23 and I already felt a little different because the whole dynamic, like my life was how to pay for school, how to survive. I'm alone in a new country. I am without family. I
Right,
have to, it's just like a
right.
that college life of partying and careless, oh, I'm not gonna do my ear training to like it's just like such different dynamic. I already felt, so
Yeah.
older.
Though died. In the classroom, outside of the classroom, obviously, the way of thinking, obviously, different ages. Um, but within the classroom, I had an interesting feeling that we were all the same age because the interest was, we're all learning, and the language at certain points it was all pretty equal,
Yeah.
even in the interactions that we had with the teachers. But it was definitely something else, when you left the classroom and then everything. But I have to really be honest. I don't think I would have been in the same mindset had I gone to Berklee College of Music in, when I was 18, when I was 19, when I was in my early 20s, the level of focus and the level of, wanting to achieve and to work hard and to really create connections and network so that I had something to fall onto when I graduated. It was constantly working hard. Um, so yeah, that was quite an experience, and I have to be truly thankful to Berkeley because they really supported me in a lot of things that I'm grateful for.
Yeah, you were like a Berkeley star. They would put your posters on the street. I was like, I know her. Yeah, it's and now at this point, I want to congratulate you as being Berkeley professor. It's just so crazy. We were like talking so nonchalant about this life. Oh, I just started piano at 6, went to Asia, went to Canada, but
Right.
actually, it's just like so much pushing. But now you are a professor at Berkeley. You're graduated. You graduated from jazz composition, right?
Jazz composition and performance. Yeah.
Jazz composition and performance. So, how does it feel to be on the other side now? Be the professor and share your knowledge with other students who come eager to learn.
It's an interesting feeling because I think it's part of my personality. I don't think I'll ever stop feeling like a student myself. I'm always eager for knowledge and I always want to learn more. I always want to learn more. So, in being with the students, it feels like I'm exchanging knowledge, because
Mm-hmm.
they also come with their own stories and backgrounds, some are highly classically trained as well. Others come with a very strong jazz background too. So it's almost like an interaction, an exchange of knowledge. But at the same time, I also feel like I have so much respect for the mentors I've had at Berkeley that I almost feel like I am a messenger, for the things that worked out for me as well,
Mm-hmm.
and my own experiences as well. So it's amazing. It's magical, I have to say. It is truly magical, and I'm really thankful to have such opportunity. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think that you deserve it
thank you.
because it's not that easy straight from
It's not.
school. It's very special
Yeah.
to have some that kind of path. It's such people really notice. There's something special about you. Like you are an amazing player, but there's this divine presence around you. That's what captured me to you, like
Oh,
drawn to you and drawn me to the other friend I told you. It's just this aura around you. And when I lived in Boston and I was teaching piano lessons, and I was so happy that I could leave my students with someone like you.
oh,
I was like, man, you guys have no idea. You're so fortunate to work with Zahili. Because there's this aura, and I feel like when you act from the place of integrity, like these things lay in your life, and you are definite manifestation of that
wow.
because you've gone through all these different changes and countries and you know um, identities and styles and different disciplines, and you keep pushing, and now being a professor probably also challenges you in different ways, being
Right.
a, a teacher.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, we kind of going towards the end. I want to say that if people who are watching, if you guys want to ask something, Zayli, so pop in a comment. Pop in a comment, and I'm actually gonna check on my phone right now and see who is watching. if I can't see it.
And in the
I know.
I wanted to thank you once again. You know, to it's it makes me a little like sentimental to hear your words. You know, because it's good to know that I've been a person that inspires you, and that at the same time doesn't mean that there's a lot of moments of what am I doing?
Yeah.
So I just want to be honest with myself, with you, and whoever is watching, that in spite of the hard work, there's always those hard moments, of
Hmm.
pushing through, and it's all out of love and passion for music in the first place. So yeah, thank you, Simona.
Oh, thank you, Zayli. Also, I have this. So for the last thing, I have this right here,
Ah,
which
the
has
little
the
lady.
dedication. Oh, it makes me feel so special. So this is an awesome cover, by the way. This is
Thank you.
Sky's Zayli's second record, right?
Yep.
Is a second record with her trio Mixla, and it has 10 songs and really nice CD. I love having CDs and listening to them.
Yes.
So for the final and I want you to tell me a little bit about your current creative projects. We talk about you as a teacher, about your endeavors of traveling everywhere, studying, but beyond Berkeley, beyond as an educator's hat, could you tell a little bit about what are your current creative goals and music, things maybe you're working on, something like that?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Especially now with this quarantine,
Hmm.
my answer probably would have been completely different had we not been on this quarantine. But you know, in spite of this being such a difficult situation, a lot of people are dying out of this. Um, there's one good side of just having the opportunity to sit with myself for a while. I feel like the times that we live currently they go so fast
They do.
that I found myself at times just craving to just have a moment for myself, but not being able to sleep enough hours, waking up, going on about life, and the same cycle, just repeating, 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 repeating. So, one thing that I am grateful for now that we don't have somewhere to go to and we're confined in our homes is just to be able to sit at the piano and find myself outside of, I have to prepare for a concert, I have to prepare for an album, I have to prepare for this and that, right? So my creative process right now is just letting things flow. Just sitting at the piano and finding sounds,
Hmm.
finding new ways of expression, and in the midst of that, just writing what comes out. I know this is a little maybe like too open and not so specific, but that's where I'm finding myself right now, at a point in which I just want to sit at the piano and let whatever comes out come out, and one day it might be transcription, another day it might be a short composition, another day might be wanting to learn a new classical tune, and that's where I am right now, and I feel really at peace with that.
Hmm.
Also collaborating, there's a few other movements that are coming now of people that get together and perform, not necessarily perform, but record yourself and then put like a little video together, everybody from their homes. So I've been fortunate as well to be called for some of those. But outside of that, just being able to connect with my instrument and being with myself is what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I feel in a some way these times takes us back to that childhood moment where
Yeah,
you allowed to just practice and you were
just
allowed to just explore the instrument,
yeah,
while in the real wavelength we always like, what's the next gig? Oh, I gotta check out
yeah,
this tune, for tomorrow. Oh, someone asked me to learn the song. It's just like you always have to learn something else. While now I do the same thing. I also compose more, and I just kind of without the goal in my mind, I just go through different chords and I see how I
Yeah.
feel about them. It's
Yeah,
just
and it's beautiful to just be able to have that, because there's a lot of pressure among us too. We got to make a living, we got to go and perform here, we got to go and perform there. So, yes, we kind of, at a lack of finances because we don't have our gigs now, but at least we have that, which I think it has no price, just to be able to relax and calm the heartbeat a little bit and just reconnect with ourselves again.
yeah, yeah, definitely. All right, Zayli, thank you so much.
You
And I just want to, for those who are watching, I want to tell that next Saturday I'll be going live again at the same time, Saturday 12:30, and I'll be talking to another friend of mine from Berkeley, Allegra Kramer. She's a harp player, Australian, Scottish, I think, and American harp player and singer-songwriter, Allegra Kramer, and I hope you guys can join. We'll talk about playing specific, very particular instrument, string instruments, and just life, and blessings we have through this journey of being an artist.
nice.
So I hope that people who watched got inspired in one way or another, and I'm so happy that I had a chance to reconnect with you as well. Just seeing and sharing energy. It's very inspiring. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you, Simona, and congratulations to you as well, because you've been also working hard and achieving a lot. You actually are a lot of inspiration as well. You're constantly on top of your things. So yeah, thank you for this. Congratulations and good luck with your future interviews.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope to see you soon in Boston or New York or somewhere else.
Let's hope. All right.
Okay.
Talk to
All
you.
right. Ciao, ciao.